What is up? I'm a little bit embarrassed with myself because, hi Sadie girl. If you hear clicky clacky, that is Sadie girl. Look, I pulled all the books I've bought in the last 6 months. It's towering. It goes all the way here. There's some shorter stacks. So this is what I thought would be fun, and also just to remind myself to not buy so many books and to shop my shelves. Here's the plan for this video. I want to go through all of these books, just quickly show you which ones. If I have read them, I'll put a little rating of what I thought they were, and I will link any of the videos where I've talked about them. I want to then also show you, I have a box here of books that I'm unhauling, and then I will kind of chat about some of the pre-orders I have coming in. So this is kind of like a book inventory video. Hopefully this is something people like watching. If not, I got other videos I would love for you to watch. I didn't introduce myself. Sorry. My name is Cindy, and I like to talk about books and TV shows and movies, and my channel is called Snacks and Stacks. I hope you will like what I have to say. If you do like this video, subscribe. I don't normally say those things, but I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try a little harder. I think I wrote down more than 40 books that I had purchased. I've written down that I've read about 16 of them. So I'll do the math here. And yeah, let's just kind of get started. Again, these are books that I've bought in the last 6 months. It included holidays, gifts, a lot of holiday sales. My birthday was also within those 6 months, so a lot of treat myself and retail therapy. So I have separated these by genre, and a lot of the ones on top are the ones I've read already. So I said that, and then this is not the way it goes. But here we go. I'm wondering if this is close enough. Now that you've seen it, I think I'm gonna bring you closer. Okay. So you guys can see the actual books. So we'll start with some of our special editions. I have the Fairy Loot Kiki's Delivery Service. It is shiny. It is so pretty. And I am pretty careful with my books. I do like to collect them and keep them in pretty good condition. Although I'm also like fairly happy to mark them up if it helps my reading experience. So. But special editions, I feel like, are special. So that's Kiki's. I have not read that one. So that is, I lied. I did not put the ones I read on top for this pile. And I have read these and asked my husband to get these for me for Christmas, and he did. This would be Tress of the Emerald Sea and Yuki and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. These are available on his website, but they're part of the secret Kickstarter secret project, so the ones in store look different. But yeah, these are like leather, hardback, printed on, and inside I got little card. We have end pages, and they are also fully colored on the inside. So, artwork. Look at this. Can you see? So yeah, I really wanted these because these were some of my favorite books of last year. Yuki was probably my favorite. I have a whole video about how I compared Yuki and the Nightmare Painter to creative work as professionals, which is why I think I just gravitated towards it so much. Oh, beautiful. Is it in here? Okay. Yeah, it's absolutely gorgeous. Okay, next pile. This is my manga and light novel. There's only one light novel in here. Pile. Some of these were gifts. So we have Spy Family, bought the newest one, devoured it. It was great. I love this anime, The Apothecary Diaries, and funny enough, my brother-in-law got this for me for Christmas. This is the light novel. So there's some images in here, but it is more of like a book. There's not like panels. I found a bunch of Witch Hat Atelier used, so I started collecting them. I will probably do a vlog reading these because they are gonna be quick. But I'm also scared to read them because then I'm gonna wanna buy more, and like, I already have a problem. And my brother-in-law also got me Noragami Stray God, and this is a 3-in-1 manga. I don't know anything about it, but yeah. So that's my manga pile. The next pile we'll do is romance. First Time Caller by BK Borison. I pre-ordered this baby. Found the special edition. It's like an anniversary edition for Fangirl, and it's one of my favorite books ever. It has, oh, I should have, this is also a special edition. Ah, I'm such a butt. This is also printed on the hardcover. Listen to that. And it's the 10th anniversary edition. It has Read to Me, Sweetheart on the side. Some cute end pages. And the inside has these little graphics. Sorry, you are special. I just threw it in romance. Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. King of Wrath by Anna Huang. Out of the Woods by Hannah Bonham Young. True Wrongs Make a Right. See, the problem is I find a lot of these used and I'm like, I gotta get them. The RomCommers by Catherine Senner. And that is all my romance books. So my shelves are organized by fantasy, romance, other fiction, and then nonfiction. But I have a lot of fantasy, as you can see. So we will do other fiction. Got this to support Indie Bookstore Day. Welcome to the Wanamdong Bookshop. Razor Blade Tears by S.A. Cosby. The Paper Menagerie by Ken Liu. The Wedding People by Alison Esbeck. How to Solve Your Own Murder by Kristen Perrin. The Reformatory by Tanana Reeve Dew. The Great Divide by Christina Henrique. Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmis. I got this for 10 cents at the library sale. How can I say no? The God of the Woods by Liz Moore. So that's all the other fiction. Let's do nonfiction. This is a tiny little pile. James Baldwin, The Fire Next Time. No Country for 8-Spot Butterflies by Julian Agwan. World of Wonders by Amy Nazukamatamato. Another 10-cent book from the same library sale. The library sale I found was 10 books for $1. Okay, so I couldn't say no. And a bunch of Game of Thrones books came from that. Building a Story Brand by Donald Miller. I'm trying to get better at my job. Okay, turn this guy around. These are all the paperback fantasies. So The Toll, I am midway through, so this was a necessary purchase. Catching Fire and Mockingjay, I found these two foil editions for the 10 cents dollar sale. Earth Abides, which was also a gift from my brother-in-law. It's his favorite book and I read it as well. We do not have the same taste, but I actually really appreciate this book for its own things and I will be keeping it even though it is a 2.5-star book in my opinion, because I think it's a book that you can read parts of it and it will grow on you. Cress and Scarlet, I'm trying to collect all of these editions because I think I'm in the minority, but I love the original covers. I've seen a lot of these like newer editions, special editions, and for me, I still think these covers grab my attention more than any of them. So I'm just missing Winter and Fairest and Stars Above, I think. I'm also collecting the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition for these Emily Wilde paperbacks, so I have the second one. The Doll Makers by Lynn Buchanan. Foul Days by Genoveva Demova. The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. I don't know when I'll get to this. I know it's an ongoing series, so I might not start it right away, but I found it at Book Outlet for really cheap, like $5. So I bought it because Samantha Shannon is one of those authors that I like reading slowly because there's just so much information, which is what I did for Priory. Naomi Novik, Uprooted. The Bone Maker by Sarah Beth Durst. Empire of Shadows by Jacqueline Benson. This is a book I'm going to be buddy reading with Cassie's Reading Corner in June. And I'm so excited to read this because it's got like mummy vibes, I was told. But it's not in Egypt, it's in pre-Columbian history. Okay, so 4 of these Game of Thrones books were at the 10 for $1 library sale. So I picked all of those up because they're big books. So I feel like if I have them, it'll help me listen and read them because I know it's a big world. And then that same day, I drove straight to 2nd and Charles to see if I could find the first one because I was so annoyed that the first books weren't at, like the Hunger Game books wasn't there. Anyways, so I found this for $4.50. So technically, I got this whole set of Game of Thrones for $5. Can you blame me? I think this is like one of the biggest scores of the year, okay? Yeah, so I do plan on starting that series sometime this year, probably when I can find the time to also get the audiobook from the library so I can do some on and off reading. Under the Oak Tree by Suji Kim. This is a hardback, printed on hardback as well. It's not a special edition, but it feels like one, like it looks gorgeous. And I personally like the story, but I think it's not as popular. And I understand why. There's a lot of things in it that makes me a little uncomfy, but I'm in it for the ride. A bee was just hitting my window like crazy. A Psalm for the Wild Build by Becky Chambers. This is a novella that I have read, actually listened to, and thought I really wanted to have so I could physically read some of these passages. I actually have it by my bed. I haven't done this, but I wanted it there so that I could pick up just certain parts of it. There's a philosophical thoughts in here that I think are very lovely for a 30-something-year-old who's trying to navigate purpose in this nice big world we live in. A Sorceress Comes to Call by T. Kingfisher. A Magical Girl Retires by Park Soyun. This is so tiny. I'm mad at myself for not reading this book yet. The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah. Her Radiant Curse by Elizabeth Lim. I have read this. I love it. And I need to read The Dragon's Promise. Oh, and I got this off Book Outlet, but it was signed, which is so cool. Look at that. Foul Heart Huntsman by Chloe Gong. Ordinary Monsters by J.M. Miro. And another little book I'm mad I haven't read yet because I want to so bad. I'm Afraid You've Got Dragons by Peter S. Beagle. I have tried to put this in for my family book club and this spinner wheel never picks me. It always picks somebody else and then I have to find the book that it picked. So yeah, that is all the books that I have gotten in the last 6 months, I think. At least the ones I recorded well enough in Storygraph. We'll go through my unhauls. I don't typically keep a lot of books that I read that I feel I won't reread. I obviously buy a lot of books that I want to read. I do have a little bit of a system. I try to see if it's available as an audiobook at the library first before I buy a book sometimes. I also go for the price. Sometimes I'll be like, I think it's a book that I need to like write down or reference later if it's a series. So I try to have some method to this madness, but it's probably not that legitimate. I am unhauling my Kristen Hanna books, The Great Alone and The Four Winds. These are good books. I enjoyed my time with them. I actually was able to listen and read them at the same time, which was very nice. I just don't think I will ever revisit books that make me cry like this. So I'm unhauling them. I'm also unhauling How to End a Love Story by Yulin Kwong. I enjoyed this story. I think if I ever wanted to reread it, I would just listen to it from the library. And I have such a weird, I don't know the word. I like devoured this book. I listened to it while I was working and then immediately grabbed it from my shelf and physically read the rest because I needed to know what happens. It was very emotional. It was very like traumatic. But I don't think I really rooted for the couple as much as I rooted for them as individual people, but never together. And as a couple, as a romance, that's what I want, is I want to root for them as individuals and as a couple. Did I make sense? Okay. The Queen of the Tearling by Erica Johansson, because I liked it. And then I remember being like medium about it. And I read spoilers all the time. And if I like something, I'll still read it. But I read the spoilers for this and I didn't like it. So I didn't want to invest in more time. The Keeper of Night by Kylie Lee Baker. I think my husband and I set our expectations too high for this book, but we read it as a couple on vacation and we couldn't get into it. I even made him get a library card so he could like listen to it with me because he wanted to finish it but on his own time, and then I wanted to finish it earlier. And so we tried to do the audiobook so we could finish it. I think I ended up finishing listening to it and then I just told him what happened. That's how much. But my husband's not a reader, but he really wanted to try. And I'm kind of mad at this book because of this experience. My husband doesn't want to really try buddy reading anymore. I'm also going to unhaul Iron Widow by Ziran J. Zhao. I think a lot of people will love this book, and somebody else who will love this will be able to own it and adore it. For me, I've never been into the mechanical fighting scene, so that is prevalent in this book. This is how I'm gonna lose all my subscribers. I'm unhauling The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I didn't like it. I only got maybe 30% in and I DNF'd it. Yeah, I don't like domestic thrillers, especially predictable ones. And I hated this whole experience. I got to a point in the book where I was like, everyone's icky and I don't like it. And then I like wrote down some ideas of what I thought was going to happen. And I looked it up, even though I try really hard not to look up spoilers for thrillers because they're usually pretty fast and I'll just read it. But I was getting so frustrated because I was like, I think this is everything I hate in a book. And it was. So I stopped reading it so I could pick up something else because look, I have a ton to pick from. Why am I unhauling this? Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert. I decided to unhaul this at some point. I really love this book. No, I like this book. Let's not lie. Okay, I remember now. Of the three Brown sisters, Danny was my favorite, and I contemplated about keeping this book because she is my favorite of the three, but I think I prefer romances on audio, and I figured if I wasn't going to have the other two as a set, I was going to unhaul this one, not DNF, unhaul this, because somebody else can read it and love it and keep it and reread it and do all the things that I probably won't do because I'm just not gonna reread it physically. Same for this. I liked this book, The Bromance Book Club by Lisa K. Adams, but that's what I was doing. Okay. I only want to keep romances that I will like physically read. So I will probably just listen to this on audiobook if I ever wanted to again. And I liked the whole series, but that was the only one I had. And I didn't feel like I was going to purchase the rest of the series. Because, yeah, my brain works weird. I think it's funny because I go from the Housemaid, which I definitely am getting rid of, to these two romance books that I enjoyed, but I'm still like, well, I also have limited space. So, okay, I'm not going to keep making excuses. That's just who I am. I'm also so sad, but I'm unhauling She Who Became the Sun and He Who Drowned the World because I couldn't get through the first book. I think I read about 30%, and I don't think the writing style nor the plot, the military fantasy, is for me in this setting. I felt really lost. I felt like I needed a companion reference guide, and I felt like that. So I actually don't know if it was the writing style. I liked the writing style at first, and then when it got to writing about the fantasy, the military stuff, I felt like I didn't quite get it. And that's on me. This is all, it's me, not you. Okay? And that's it. Those are all the books I'm unhauling. Okay, and these are the books that I've pre-ordered that I made room for with my unhaul, right? We have June 3rd, Forgery of Fate by Elizabeth Lim. Very excited for that one. Might just try to read it while other things are going on anyways. I have Bury Our Bones in the Midnight Soil coming June 10th by V.E. Schwab. In July, looks like July 15th, The Enchanted Greenhouse by Sarah Beth Durst. I loved The Spell Shop, and I have it, and I'm keeping it, and I want it. So I want the next one. And also A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. I think that is going to be a very cute like fall read, and I wanted it in my hands. Then I have in August 5th Spy Family Volume 14 because I will devour it. In September, for September 16th, Among the Burning Flowers by Samantha Shannon. I'm hoping that by then I would have read A Day of Fallen Night by then, and so then I can go straight into that third book in the same world. And I have also pre-ordered in October Good Spirits by B.K. Borison because I am a B.K. Borison fangirly. So I have something coming once a month, and in July and June I've got 2 coming. So I'm hoping that will satiate me, and if I find things that are on a very good sale, I might still purchase them. I'm not sure if I'm the only one who also has way too much on their physical TBR, but if you do, leave a little emoji down there, a little book stack emoji, so that I don't feel so alone in my retail therapy. I might also do a series that's like Shop My Shelf or a standalone read, maybe like a vlog or something something has to happen. So yes, happy reading, happy snacking, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.